The Quo-Cast, a Status Quo fan podcast.
My guest on this edition of the Quo-Cast needs no introduction whatsoever. Welcome to the podcast, Status Quo bassist John Rhino Edwards. How's it going?
Well, you did say I needed no introduction. And then you introduced me. How's it going? I'm good, thank you very much. I'm enjoying, enduring, having a pretty good time over this merrily weird Christmas.
It has been extremely weird, and it's capped off what is a very strange year. And I should think certainly for you, because at the beginning of the year, you were probably celebrating the success of Quo's Backbone album. You were looking forward to tours and extra bits and pieces. And then COVID happened. What was going through your mind when all that started to kick off?
When it started off, we kind of, everyone knew it was coming. And just before then, our son, who lives in America, and his wife Claudie, my son Max and Claudie, they had a baby, which is our first grandchild. So that really blew our mind, really. And it sort of got us through lockdown because we were getting videos and stuff every day, and just little bits and stuff. And my daughter May was living at home because she was in between properties, if you like, and she was here with her boyfriend, who happens to be my daughter-in-law's brother. That's another story. But basically, we had the first lockdown was with my daughter, my wife, and my soon-to-be son-in-law, and we had a ball. We had a great time. I discovered the wonderful joys of elderflower. We're making elderflower squash and slows. Well, it was the wrong time of year for slows, I found out. But we did lots and lots of walking, which was great. I live near the airport. It was great to hear no planes. The weather was amazing. We got quite a large garden. We got a little badminton net up, and we had an absolute party for 3 months, I suppose, which is terrible, really, because I know a lot of people really struggle. But the favourite, I think it's called a meme or a GIF, I don't know which one, but it said, "Oh my God, this is the third time this week I've ordered wine for the next 2 weeks." And that was pretty much us. On the work front, I don't like using that word because as far as I'm concerned, I haven't got a job. I'll just, I make a living. I get paid for doing what I love. So no, on the work, that's not the work. The touring side of things, it was difficult but we made a decision very early on when Francis had to cancel his tour his speaking tour after a few shows. It became apparent this was really big, and we took the decision, I think, at the right time to cancel and not try and do it and not try and do it again. So many bands have rescheduled and rescheduled and rescheduled. Like Francis, I know has. He's done I think he's on his third rearrangement of it, or the second rearrangement of it. And to be honest, I'm still dubious about that, But that's up, that's up to him. That's his deal. Anyway, once it was decided that we weren't going to do, the tour was off, as I said, which was quite early. It took a bit of getting used to, but not much, because I thought, okay, it's given me a chance to spend more time with my family, with my wife in particular. We don't. This is the most time we've ever spent together, and I've only killed her once. No, we get, and it's been great. We know each other so well after this amount of time. We rub along nicely, and the fact that it's been basically I've been home now for over a year. Well, my last gig was in January with Rhino's Revenge. And it's been okay. I'm bored with it now.
But from what I've seen, you've been keeping yourself busy with the various work that you've been doing. You did a solo gig for Save the Rhino. You've done Rockin' the Lock-In as well with your family.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with varying degrees of success. That not one I'd recommend the fans to watch, although worth watching for my daughter May. But it was me and May and my Andre, my soon-to-be son-in-law, and we decided we were going to do this Bill Withers tribute, and is Afrikaans, so but I can't do his accent. But I said, "How are we going to do this on?" He said, "Well, John, the problem we've got here is I've never ever played a song from start to finish." So in 2 weeks, he had to learn all these songs, and I tell you, the concentration on his face was because it was just he did brilliantly. He did really, really well. But the first one was great. The second one got a bit. I think we've possibly had a bit of cabin fever there. But I've kept myself busy. I've written a few songs. In fact, funnily enough, I finished one today that I've written with Francis.
Wow. I mean, I'm sure there'll be many fans excited to hear what that might turn into. You've also been supporting lots of other causes as well, because you've just released a new song with your band Rhino's Revenge called Super Smashing Great. How did that come about?
Well, I've got so many friends, mainly crew members who basically have fallen through the net, on the they've not been able to get any grants from the government or anything like that. And I understand it's not a political song. I understand that the government have to prioritise things. But what I do feel is that over the since they came to power, basically, the arts have been downgraded in their eyes. They're not really that interested. And that's to me, that's not a right on thing. That's just a fact. They don't really care. They don't really care about the arts. They might care about theatre and ballet. The more highbrow things, because the government are basically that kind of people. I think that grassroots entertainment, which is where the majority of people get their kicks, if you like, has been ignored. Really, not ignored. As I said, it's not. Put it as we are really, really low down the list. I think they don't care about loud music and and people getting really sweaty and all that. And people getting sweaty, that sounds terrible. I mean, but loud music, lots of noise, people having a really raucous time. I don't think that's on their radar, and I think they I think they were one of the there's a word that rhymes with duck. Them, they did quite a lot of things, which is really weird, because I looked at the figures, and as I said in the song, it brings in live music brings in billions, and you don't see the Ballet Rambert doing 6 nights at the O2. You don't get that kind of thing, and this brings in shed loads of money. And I really do think they don't give a toss about us musicians a bit more, I suppose. But it's more the crews are the people I'm really feeling sorry for. And so this is for a crew charity. I've done this in conjunction with the crew charity. If you hear it, it's on rhinosrevenge.com or on YouTube. It's called Rhino's Revenge, Super Smashing Great. Shameless plug here. If you like it, buy it. It's only £1. And that pound goes straight to the charity. I think it's called Backstage something, which is a crew charity. If you really want it, if you really like it, press the donate button and give them some money. Because I spoke to the guy at the charity, and he said we are basically putting food on people's tables here. And I know we're not alone, but this is my specialist field. And so I want to do a little bit I can. I mean, I probably should. I'm not being funny. I probably should be working in a soup kitchen or at a food bank or something. Like that, like Sir Marcus Rashford. He's top man. But the differences between Marcus Rashford and me, I read a thing about it, is that he has a serious PR team behind him as well. If he does something, apart from the fact he's got a lot more profile than I have, if I'd done it with more of a PR team, I'm sure it would have been maybe it would have created a tiny ripple. But that's fine. I've said my piece, and I won't stop.
I think as long as it raises money, it doesn't matter how big it is. And I personally love the song. I love the words. You've managed to capture a moment in time. I love the slight digs at things, and you always have this knack of being incredibly direct with your songwriting. It's something I think you tend to do more in Rhino's Revenge.
As I said to you before, I can't remember if we were recording or not, the Quo's, Status Quo is good time music. It's people to go out and have a party to. And I would like I want Rhino's Revenge to be the same kind of thing for the Oh, by the way, we could have socially distanced our tour, no problem. It's never a problem at a Rhinos Venture. Come along, there's plenty of room. um, yeah, I like to think that I do. I can still do quite a kind of cracking tune with I suppose bittersweet lyrics. I have more room lyrically. I mean, lyrics are my thing, really. I'm not saying I'm any good at it. I spend a lot of time writing words. It's Harold Pinter once. Somebody said to Pinter once, "Do you mind if we mess with the setting and everything?" He said, "I don't care what you do with it. Just don't change a word." And I like the lyrics, and so if you write a song, you've got to have something to talk about, or you've got to have something with a bit of mystique to it. I think, and yeah, I write about things. I can't go moon in June or don't care. Doesn't. There's a quote one I don't like, which gets used a lot, which it doesn't matter much to me, or something like that. It's like, but if it doesn't matter much to you, then why bother? Have we lost our thing here? Are you hearing?
Yep, I can still hear you,
Are
and
you
we're still
hearing?
recording. It's fine.
Good, you've got a little bit hazy. So you heard all that bollocks.
No, it's not bollocks at all. It's a very good observation. Have you had any feedback from people about the song?
Super Smashing Great.
Yes.
Well, funnily enough, and I suppose this is my one name drop. Is I'm quite good friends with Chris Wilson from Muse, and I sent it to him, and I said, what do you think? And he just wrote back, it's so brilliant. I've bought it and donated. And that's all. I mean, a lot of people that are hearing it that I know. I mean, it's really weird with musicians. A lot of musician friends might like it, but then musicians they never donate. You know what I mean? We're the most cynical bunch of fuckers you'll ever meet. Oh yeah, it's really good. Anyway, can I get on the guest list? I mean, it's really weird like that. I mean, I don't like doing guest lists. I don't like doing guests at Rhinos Events gigs. I don't mind doing the odd guest at a Quo gig, But there was one guy who sadly is no longer with us, and he was always my first name on the London guest list because he was skin, and he was a massive Quo fan, but he was a pauper, and it was the highlight of his year was being able to do that. I mean, no, I'm not big on guests at all at gigs. I think is a good example. We played with Shalimar on a few. We did some Aces Revival things, and they were amazing. And I got talking to the guys, and I met the manager, and I saw they were playing at the Indigo in the O2, and I said, "Oh, I'll see you at the Indigo." And he was emailing me, so okay, what time are you getting there? You're on the list. And I said, "No, I'm not." And I bought tickets, and I went, and he said, "Oh, you got to come back." I said, "No, I don't." And they were actually shit. I was just so disappointed. They were really crap on their own gig. Shalimar, but no, it's like football. I mean, I could blag it. I'm a big Brentford supporter, and I think there have been times over the years when I've only ever blagged it once, which, funny enough, when I took Chris Wilson home there, and I blagged I phoned up a friend of mine is the announcer there, and we got into the posh bit, which in Brentford is hilarious. It's in the old ground. It was awful. Basically, you got a pie and a cup of tea. If you were a celebrity, if you were, oh, this is my mate. He's in a massive worldwide band. Excellent. Have a pie. Which was great. It's proper. I don't like to. I don't want things for nothing. I just don't like it. I never have. I mean, I am the tightest bass player in rock, but I don't. I stand my round.
You've done so much during this last year, even though it probably wasn't what you expected to be doing. I mean, what is your kind of plan for the very near future? Because I know that you have reorganised some gigs, haven't you, with Rhino's Revenge?
Yeah, I'm talking with Mike Arana, my manager at the moment, whether we're going to do it or not. And I leave it to mid-sentence Mike, as I call him, because he'll make the call. And it's a shame because we've got we're actually, for what it's worth, we're bigger in Europe than we are here. We actually don't do that badly. Well, I don't mean that badly. We do quite well in Europe. And I've got a couple of gigs in Austria, I know, and a couple in France, and I think we were talking about Belgium. and Holland. I was very sad to see, by the way, completely changing the subject, although it's on the live thing, is that all you Quo fans out there, Mark Ellis has bitten the dust in Holland, in Friese Parlen, where I've spent many a loud, drunken evening with a bunch of very tall Dutch people who make you feel so welcome. And unfortunately, he's called it. I can't think of his name, but he's called it a day. So Mark Ellis is no more. And those of you that didn't get there and could have done, shame on you, because it's a shrine to status quo. Have you been there?
I haven't, no, unfortunately.
Well, shame on you then. But no, it was just, it was when they used to I can't think what they used to Cross Guitars, normally in May, and I've played there a couple of times, and it's chaos, organised chaos. Everyone's living in tents or in a hostel somewhere, and I look at them and think, no thanks, peasants, and I go off to my 5-star hotel. No, I don't really, but it's just brilliant, the that's what I said about Quo fans. The camaraderie amongst them all is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, certainly since I've been doing this podcast, and even before at various gigs I've been to, the amount of love there is between Quo fans. Sometimes we have differing opinions about different things, but most of all, we all know that we have an appreciation of this one thing. And that's what I was going to ask you, actually. You say that Rhino's Revenge is quite big in Europe.
Well, not big, we play.
Well, like they have you have a following in Europe. Do you find how much percentage is like Rhino's Revenge fans, and how many are maybe Quo fans on the side as well?
No, it's mainly Quo fans. I mean, I don't mean it's been disappointing at all. I would have. When I was doing this, I did hope that it would not break away from the Quo thing, but get other people along as well, and I still do. I mean, it's not all Quo fans, but I suppose that's the starting point for it.
Yeah.
And credit to them for liking what I do, because I appreciate that I'm, as opposed to the lead singer, I am the lead shouter. I get that. I'm an acquired taster, and I think my stuff, the repeated listening on my stuff is a different thing to Quo. If you repeated listening on my thing, it's a bit more, it's a bit deeper, I think, and I don't mean that makes it any better. It's just, it's a bit less primordial, whatever the word. It's not so thumping, and basically not as good. Probably not as good is what it is. But that's fine. It is what it is, and I feel very privileged that I'm halfway. I'm funny. We're finishing this song. I'm over halfway to to inflicting my next album on the world. The songs I've got a few songs starting to come out now. This is quite a it's going to be quite a noisy record, I'd say. I mean, the first one's better than the second one, but the second one was one of the most incredible events of my life. I was going away for 10 days with my 2 sons, and going away to a studio in the middle of nowhere and making a record with them. And the engineer turned around to me once. He said, I never thought I'd hear someone saying, "Dad, what do you think about this drum fill?" But no, it was magic. And then I came home and May's doing and my daughter's doing the backing vocals. So it may be that my first album has more seasoned performances, if you like. I mean, some of the guys, the guitar player on that album was just incredible. In fact, him and this guy Steve Bird, who's sadly again no longer with us, and Freddie are my 2 favourite guitar players. And by the way, Francis and Rick taught Freddie guitar. They were probably his main influences. So when he came to play with us, when he amazingly stepped into the bridge at short notice and did his run of gigs with us, he knows where it is. He knows where Status Quo only works one way, and some tribute bands know it. State of Quo, they're pretty good. I think they're on it. They know where, they kind of know where it is, and there are some others that don't. And I'm not detracting from them at all, but it only works one way. and it's you've got to work out how to do it. And it took me a while. It took me about 8 minutes. No, I saw Status Quo in 1971. I thought, this is really simple. But, I was seeing so many other bands at the time. I mean, you could have knocked me down with a feather if you thought I'd be in Status Quo, but I'm so fucking thrilled that I am. I'm not thrilled, and I don't mean like I can't believe my luck, because I've always known that at some stage of my career, I was going to end up in a name band. And when I joined Quo, my career was on an upward trajectory in a big way. I was starting to do really, really pretty well. And when the Quo gig came along, it was like, okay, yeah, I'm getting up there now. And then they said, would you like to join? And I said, yeah, why not? And that was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, because I've had a ball, and I love the fact that we're not reliant on trends, or B, popular with the media. I never wanted to, I love Groucho Marx, I wouldn't join any club that would have me as a member. I always wanted to be in an insular band, like an us against the world mentality. Dexys Midnight Runners was as a band. Oh God, I'm slurring, but I'm not. Dexys Midnight Runners was another band like that. That was my other favourite thing I ever did, even though I looked like a total twat. But that was part of the image, and I've never minded doing that, And I just love that thing, proper attitude for me,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry I haven't interrupted you at any point, but I'm enjoying hearing your musings on a range of different.
You'll be in for 3 days.
A range of different subjects there. It's very interesting as a fan to hear your take on it. Obviously, the last year, have you had much contact with the other members of Quo?
Yeah, we've got a WhatsApp group which we're all on most days. I saw some pictures from Andrew today, who's down in Somerset of the snow outside on his farm. I spoke to Richie last week. Leon, I've not had a lot of contact with. We have emails and texts, but I've actually not spoken to Leon. Although I know he's moved now. So in fact, I've been thinking I must give him a call. But where he was living before, I phoned a few times, and apparently the reception there was awful. That's what he told me. But no, I've spoken to Francis lots. Andrew probably the most. I'm pretty close with Andrew, and Richie. Richie's a lovely guy. I love his enthusiasm. I really do. And I love how much he loves it.
Yeah, because as we're recording this, it's 4 years since Rick sadly passed away, and Richie has really stepped in, hasn't he?
Well, I really miss Rick. I can't, I can't say that. I don't mean, I don't want. I'm not going to say that I don't miss him at all, because I really do. In fact, I think about him most days, and about something. He had a very oblique angle on things and a way with words. Have you got 1 minute?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
No, that's fine.
I won't bore you for too long. I'll be back.
And while Rhino takes a short break, let me remind you that you can be a guest on a future episode of the Quo-Cast. Whatever your relationship with the band, you can be a guest on the podcast by emailing quocast@outlook.com. That's quocast@outlook.com. You can tweet at CastQuo on Twitter, or go to the Facebook page, which is just simply the Quo-Cast.
Okay, I'm here. Sorry about that.
No, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've had some contact with Quo over the last year. I mean, what one thing that I have noticed certainly on Quo social media is you've done a lot more kind of video stuff, especially the Christmas message that you all did a few days ago.
Oh, do you know what? I think we're crap on social media. If it wasn't for Richie and Leon, we wouldn't have any. But I don't think we've even got an Instagram page. I mean, I don't quite, I don't know. I'm old, I don't know any jack shit about social media. I have a lovely guy called Chris who does my excuse me, social media. Oh, that's a nice burp, wasn't it? But I don't know anything about it. I just know that it's apparently it's incredible that we haven't got an Instagram account. And I read some of the Facebook things and the Twitter, but it's all pretty boring really because there's no input from the band. I mean, I don't, I'd do more if it was required of me, but and I suppose that's, I mean, are a lot of Quo fans media savvy, as they say?
I honestly can't answer that.
No.
I can't answer that, but I have noticed a slight upturn, as you say, since Richie and Leon have entered the band. I mean, where does it? Sorry, go on.
No, I don't blame her. I'm pleased, Absolutely. I mean, Richie's a really savvy guy. Full stop. He's a smart one. That one.
I find it a shame actually that you guys had to cancel the tour that was due to be going on last year. I think the question on everybody's lips was you were due to play extra tracks from Backbone. Had you finalized anything for that tour beforehand?
That's news to me. Okay, I didn't know that.
Wow, really? Because I think there were rumours going around that there was going to be up to 5 tracks in the set.
Well, the rumour mill. That's news to me.
Right.
I mean, I don't. What other tracks would you play? I mean, the thing, you can't play songs that 100 people are going to like. That's not how it works. Although you can introduce songs to people, absolutely. I mean, like we did with "Cut Me Some Slack" and "Liberty Lane." I mean, that was brilliant that we managed to do. That we did that. I mean, it's always nice to play new songs. I mean, funnily enough, there's one song I'm really surprised that we never did, but then it sort of slid under the radar, which is a song I wrote called "Bad News," and I actually think that would have actually gone down really well with more than just the hardcore, because that's a catchy little number, mate.
Yeah, it is certainly one of a Quo fans. If they're following most of your work, it's one of the most popular. And I know that there was a campaign a few years ago to try and get it into the charts because it had been on In Search of the Fourth Chord, and there was so much positivity about it. And of course, you'd recorded demos beforehand, and am I right in saying it was the first original song that you had lead vocals on for Quo?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I've only done 2. It's not rocket science, is it? Yeah, actually, no, I tell a lie. I actually wrote Centerfold. I just gave it to someone else, put it out into someone else's name. No, yeah, I've not done another one, have I? It came up, and Francis and Vic didn't like it at all anyway. So there you go.
Do you know what the kind of the feeling was about it?
Yeah, like, what's this shit? And I just said to the Pip, I said, I want to sing this. He said, all right, I'll make, no problem, I'll tell them. And they said, yeah, fine. And, please don't get me wrong. Francis, to his eternal credit, did we put the demo out beforehand then? You'll know this more than I do.
Well, I know that there is a demo circulating. I can't remember whether it came out before or after.
Yeah, because, and Freddie, I mean, I remember Freddie doing the solo, right? I remember it so well. I was sitting in my little studio room. He came in with the Les Paul that he just got, which Francis and Rick have really helped him out on. That's another story which I'll tell you afterwards if you want. But he came in and he did this solo, and he was 17, and it was the first time, and I tell you, no shit, I nearly cried. I thought, that's Paul Kossoff there at 17. It blew my head off. They said, that's just incredible. This is the song. All right, ready, record, bang. That's the only thing he's ever done on it, apart from playing the rhythm guitar on the demo we did. And it's just awesome. He's done a few solos like that have just blown me away. I've done well here. You know what I mean? I've really guided you in a fantastic direction. But Francis. They were doing the album, and Francis tried a couple of solos, and he just when I went in there one day, he said, "Oh, you know that song of yours?" I said, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "Yeah." He said, "I tried a couple of solos. He said, it's not as good as what Freddie did. Let's just leave Freddie on it." Which was great, and yeah, really, I was really, he's good. He's very he's a very fair guy, is Francis Rossi. He is a very fair guy. Mad as a box of frogs when he wants to be, but he's very egalitarian. If you're in, you're in, and if you are in, you get full backing. Full heart. And again, that's all I ever wanted to be in. I wanted to be in a band where we all looked for each other, covered each other's backs, so to speak, or whatever the expression is. It's all I ever wanted, and that's why I say I've been so lucky to be, to have done what I've done. And I've seen. Do you mind if I carry on for a second?
No, carry on.
Well, it's like I was in a town in Germany called. It's spelled. I don't know how you say it. It's spelled CLAW, and I just walking around because I do before the gig, and I look and it's like Hermann Hesse's house. And for those of you who don't know, he wasn't a Nazi war criminal. He's a writer, and a very famous writer. And it was one of his books were all the hippie handbooks. Steppenwolf was the big book. And it's like, I am in the town. I will never be here again. I've seen this. And if I had been in another band like Muse, who will only do arenas, stadiums, festivals. They'll all stay in these hotels and in these and I'm here, and this means so much more to me. And also we're doing a town festival in the town square, which is my favourite show to play, or in some dagging little club or huge clubs. I don't like arenas. I know that's what big bands do and all that. And maybe I shouldn't be in a big band, but anyway, I was there and I just thought, I'm so thrilled that I'm in Status Quo, because not only am I going to go and rock my little socks off tonight, I've seen Hermann Hesse's house today, and every day has something about it. I always go out from the gig and try and just, what's going on around here then? What's the food like? Oh, yeah, or like that. Oh, I think I'll go and follow that, I'll go and join that queue or whatever. It's just a great way, I mean, I'm the luckiest person I know. And not luckiest because of being in Status Quo, although it's obviously, it's a certain amount of luck involved in anything, but you make your own luck. There's no such thing as luck, really. You just engender being in a certain situation. If that's not the right word either, and I'm not very good with the words today, but never mind.
No, that's completely fine. I mean, you've done so much great work over the years with Quo, and of course with your own Rhino's Revenge. You made reference to a song you're currently writing with Francis. How does that go? Certainly at the moment where you can't be in the same room as one another.
Well, Francis and I write in quite a weird way. He's clever, very sharp. He's musical term there. He just knows what makes me tick. He'll send me 3 or 4 different bits, and they might be a minute long. They might be a minute and a half long. They might be 10 seconds long. And I might pick 5 seconds of it. And go, oh, right. Oh, that's cool. That's weird. I mean, we did a song called, Cut Me Some Slack, that song on Backbone. Well, he sent it to me, and he sent me all the riffs for it. And the way he and I heard it, he was hearing it on a different beat in the bar to how I heard it. So when I sent him back what I'd done, it's like, what? And I don't know if you know the story about it, but it was about my missus. I texted her basically to say, cut me some slack, because okay, she's in the next room, so we have to. No, we were in Ulm. We had some days off, and I normally went home. In the summer, there's normally, for some reason, there's a break in a town called Ulm in Germany. And I'd normally go home for 4 or 5 days. But this time the World Cup was on and I wanted to do some writing. So I decided I wasn't going to go home. And she wasn't best pleased. And I was getting well, basically when I phoned up, she said, well, I just don't understand why you come home, why aren't you home? And anyway, at the end I just texted her, will you cut me some slack? And the phone didn't ring for 3 days, and I were out on tour, and I was feeling shit at the time as well. I wasn't very well, but I said, she hasn't done it 3 fucking days, I don't know what's going on. And I kept texting her, and I spoke to my daughter. Mum's not talking to you. And I said, at the end of after about 3, why are you talking to me? She said, I'm just cutting you some slack. And that's how that song came to be. But so it was great. So he sent me the riff. So there was a real synergy. I think that might be the right word for that. A synergy between how the song was written and that thing went from Francis. But he knows that I did this on an interview recently, and I don't do many, but I did another in-depth one. And what he does is he just sort of, I'm sitting down with my guitar in my little music room, and I'll play what he's done. I might play it for weeks, not all the time, by the way, but I'll go down and I'll play it, and all of a sudden I might get something from it. Some of it I don't, but then if I don't, he'll have sent me 3 or 4, and one of them will go, oh, hold on a minute. Ah, yeah, okay. And it sends me, I'm being metaphorical here, but it sends me into a room I wouldn't have normally gone in. And so, that's it. And it's great. It's like, and you go in that room, it's like, hello, how you doing? We're good. Shall we work? This is me talking to myself, if you like, different areas of mind. And the one I've just finished, which is called Can't Count Me Out. I've just finished the demo today. That's taken me the best part of a year on and off. And he doesn't even know I'm going to send it to him yet. He probably won't like it, actually. I think it's probably a bit more one of my songs, but there you go. It's all art. I'll never stop trying to make my as I call them, my shitty little songs.
Well, you've got so many great songs in the canon, that you've already unleashed onto Quo albums over the years. I'm sure everybody's got their favourite. Do you have a favourite?
I've written some shit ones. I think the 2 worst I've ever written are, one's called Going Down for the First Time, and the other one's called The Loving Game. I think The Loving Game is probably the nadir of my Quo songwriting thing. That's really poor. That. Do I have any favourites? I'd say one that got away was I wrote a song called Every Time I Think of You, on the same album, funnily enough, Ain't Complaining, it never got finished by myself or anyone else, and that I thought really had, whilst it's of its time, I really thought that had something about it.
Yeah, Every Time I Think of You is an amazing record, and I think Pip did an amazing job on the production as well.
Yeah, but the chorus is weak.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I think, I just love the line. I wrote a letter, but I threw it away. It's kind of, I liked to do a vignette. Well, no, I'd like to. I'm not very good at them, but that's a vignette. That's a little story there. But I never wrote a great chorus for it, and that pissed me off. Other songs I really like. Round and Round, we did a song on Under the Influence. I really like
Under the Influence album, yes.
Yeah. There's nothing I don't really like. I like Liberty Lane a lot. Because I think that's got a great lyric. It's just a street round my way. And it's actually got a very sad story to it, because I know that I'm so aware of the road, of the name Liberty Lane, is because my niece Liberty was killed when she was 17 in a car crash, and basically she was named after Liberty Lane, because her mum used to go past and drive round there. She thought, oh, and she was driving while she was pregnant. She thought, well, if it's a girl, I'm going to call her Liberty. So that was really poignant for me, because that's a terrible. It's still terrible for me losing our niece. I loved her so much.
Yeah.
Anyway, never mind. I'll change. Yeah, let's change the subject. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I shall bring it to a close there, but I would like to tell the listeners that Super Smashing Great, the newish song from Rhino's Revenge, has been out for a little while now, is available from all good music download places. Is on Spotify as well, but as Rhino says, buy it, because it's going towards the Stagehand COVID relief fund.
Yeah, it's only £1. Give someone a can of soup.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, thank you so much, Rhino, for appearing on this episode of the Quo-Cast.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Jamie. I hope I haven't bored the pants off you, mate.
No, not at all.
Cool. I'd just like to say, I don't know when this is going out, but a very happy New Year to all you Quo fans, and let's hope that 2001. In fact, I'm going to play you out with the song.
Oh, you are? Oh.
And I'm going to do what I did for the Quo fan. For the Quo website. Hold on. Super smashing great, super smashing great. The festive time is here, it's super smashing great. It's been a shit year, now it's time to celebrate. Everybody go, cause it's super smashing great. 2021 will be super smashing great. Super smashing great. Oops, lovely. Happy New Year, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you so much for doing that. That was great.
That's super smashing great.